Now, our final session today is it's a real treat, and it's our link between the film and the hospitality and tourism industry. The role of film in the wanderlust we have for destinations and experiences at home or abroad is firmly embedded in our choice of holidays, day trips, and even dining out. But we have few examples in the world where a nation actively embraces film to drive growth of hospitality and tourism. Well, we do not have to look very far to find an example of best practice in this regard. Scotland demonstrates a unique example of government, business, and film working together for tourism. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Malcolm Roughead, Chief Executive of Visit Scotland.
Thanks. I actually have a couple of panel members, so I'm going to bring them on with me. Charlie Coleman, who is the Vice President of Disney Promotions, and it's his fault if it doesn't work. And Stephen Leckie, who's the Chair of the Scottish Tourism Alliance. Unfortunately, I'm going to get you back on time because I've got to go and get the last remaining BA flight into Scotland. So it's a huge business. 1.6 billion is what people talk about in terms of the value of the film industry to the UK market. And we know that's true because the Oxford Economic Forecasting told us. So there you go. There's a source for you. But 1 in 5 people claim to be influenced by what they see on screen, large and small. And certainly from our perspective, we've had quite a history of working with movie producers and also John Smith and his team. And you can see TV programs such as Monarch of the Glen, which was sold by BBC Worldwide into 20 destinations. Balamory, which became the bane of my life because of my accent. Children used to come up and start singing the song. And you kind of lose the lust for the visitor experience after the 10th or the 12th time. Also, the Da Vinci Code, probably the worst book ever written, but fantastic in terms of visitor numbers for Rosslyn Chapel. They went from a phenomenal 68,000 visitors to, in the following year, 120,000, and then in the subsequent year after that, to about 190,000. So you can just see that, the demand that is actually generated there. And it would be very remiss of me, of course, in these trying times, not to talk about the chappie there at the bottom of the screen, the Braveheart movie, of course. And that in itself, in terms of people who used to go to the monument at Stirling Castle, it was about 30,000, 40,000 or so per annum, and that multiplied tenfold once Mel did his stuff on the world stage, albeit it was filmed in Ireland, but hey, we're not proud, we'll take anything. But I have to say, you have seen absolutely nothing yet. The big blockbuster is coming. And I'm delighted to say that we're moving into a brave new world, not Aldous Huxley's, but the one of Disney Pixar. And I'm going to hand over to Charlie Coleman just to tell you a little bit about the Walt Disney Company, Pixar, and Brave.
Thank you for that, Matt. So Brave, at its core, is the next film from Pixar Animation Studios. If Braveheart took liberties by being filmed in Ireland, this film was made in Emeryville, Northern California. So, guilty. But I thought it was worth very, very quickly stepping back out before we talk about the film in more detail, but just saying that it's not just a film, it is coming from Disney, and I don't think it's too boastful to say we're unique in the entertainment world. We're a huge company. We're the world's best loved family entertainment company. But I think critically and crucially, our consumer touch points are mammoth. We operate in 39 industries. We operate in pretty much every country in the world. And we're not just a creator of movie and TV, but we're a retailer, we're a record company, we are the biggest merchandising and licensing company in the world. The list goes on. I'm not trying to outdo John Smith here, maybe a bit. But it really means something that it's a Disney film rather than just another film. No one says, I want to go and see a film from Studio X. I won't mention any of our competitors, but they will say, oh yeah, I must take the kids to the next Disney film. Within the sort of portfolio of businesses that we run, Pixar Animation Studios, again, is probably unique. They've made, Brave will be their 13th film, and they actually have, within an industry that's known for great successes and even greater failures, that being the film industry, they have an unparalleled record of success commercially and critically. To give you some statistics, I think I've made a big play about the fact that Disney and Disney Pixar means a lot, and I suppose it's synonymous with children and kids and families, and that is absolutely our heartland. But it's really interesting when you delve a bit deeper into who goes and sees a Pixar film. The audience is everyone. I've got a couple of very quick stats to back that up. The first is that more 18 to 24-year-old men went to see Finding Nemo at the cinema than went to see The Bourne Identity in 2003 in the UK. More 18 to 24-year-old men went to see Toy Story 3 in 2010 than went to see The A-Team, the movie version of The A-Team, in cinemas that year. The point is, I suppose, we just get more of everyone. So for a platform upon which Visit Scotland can play and can achieve the objectives that the organisation would like to do, I don't think there's a better platform and a better opportunity for you, I would say that. You raised Braveheart, so I will talk about it. And again, this probably just serves to support the point I've already made, which is it was a huge success. It made over $200 million, I believe, in the US and UK in 1995. Toy Story was released that first year, the first ever animated full-length, computer-generated animated full-length feature film from the wizards at Pixar, and it made double that in the US and the UK. So again, I suppose it just serves to show the power and the footprint of what a Disney Pixar film can do, and for the sort of natural partners that we have for that.
And you talk about partners, and I guess it is like, a perfect marriage when a destination delivers inspiration, innovation, but clearly these guys, as you say, are based in the States. So how do they just take that on board?
We never ask. No, we just let them do their thing. But this is actually probably a really good time to play the piece of the sizzle that we've got, because it's actually, part of it tells you about the story of Brave, so it gives you an insight into that, but also this features the filmmakers themselves talking about just that, I suppose, the inspiration. So one caveat, my name is burnt into this footage all over it. That is not an expression of ego. That is purely for sort of the sensitivity of the footage, because none of this is in the public domain until now. So let's play that sizzle piece. Like I was saying, it's not just a film. It is coming out in cinemas across the world this summer. We're obviously dating it sympathetically in the UK, given everything else that's going on this summer. It is out in Singapore August the 8th. I checked that after we heard from the speaker after lunch. But it's not just a movie. It's consumer products. It's a DVD come Christmas. It'll be a social game. It'll be a console game. You name it. Like I said, those consumer touch points will be everywhere. And working with the likes of you, and by virtue working with the likes of Visit Scotland, the likes of Stephen, and many other destination owners like him, that will only sort of, I suppose, broaden the event and take advantage of this, I suppose, moment for Scotland in 2012.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, and I think the interesting point is, I've just gone through those. So, it's very much about how does Team Scotland get behind this? Because the movie's a movie, and the movie will be a phenomenal success. But how do you take that, and how do you turn that success into an economic benefit? And that's where we started from when we set out to look at the relationship that we wanted with Disney Pixar. It was about what can we generate in terms of economic benefit. And I don't just mean in terms of the tourism, the narrow definition of the tourism industry. We were looking across the piece at Scotland PLC, and probably it's been the hardest project we've embarked upon. We've got 26 non-governmental organisations involved in this, and they range from the likes of the National Trust for Scotland, Historic Scotland, Forestry Commission, Bord na Gaelic, who want to do a Gaelic version of the whole thing. Then it's spun out into a slightly broader definition of tourism, so we're into the food and drink industry and arts and crafts, and then we started to touch on other areas as well, like the creative industries, and the creative sector up there, and talking to some of the guys from Pixar about doing master classes, going into colleges, trying to inspire students into a career that is either within the creative industries in Scotland or could be elsewhere. But it's actually using it to inspire people, and that's what I think this actually does, and it does it incredibly successfully on a number of dimensions. And then from there, ultimately, we set that up. We can act as the glue and the catalyst, and we can make the environment right for basically the industry to come in on the back of that. Because I tend to look at things in probably my upbringing. I mean, it's about inspiring, informing, and converting. And my mother up there will love me if I haven't said that. Sunday school worked, and but we can only do the information and the inspiration part. The conversion has to come from the industry. So we can put the platforms up that work off the social media, the tools that are there, the website that's been specially created, the TV campaign that's supporting the work that Disney Pixar is doing anyway in all the core markets. But ultimately, Stephen, it's you. It's you and your colleagues.
Right. Well, thank you, Malcolm. Ufi, how are we doing for time? Bad, aren't we? 5 minutes, right. High speed. You're wondering why I'm sitting here. I'm the guy in the tweed suit. Now, I got all this wrong. I thought I was coming to the Gillies Convention for salmon fishing down here, I was told. But it would appear I missed that. But anyway, it's nice for a man to dress up, because all the girls get a chance to dress up, and all the men wear dark suits all the time, don't you, guys? Which is so boring and dull. So, what's this about? For us, for Scotland, this is about being patriotic, about enjoying Scotland. There's some things that I do around Scotland. You guys do your learning in your own way, and me in my own way in Scotland. So this is about the Alliance of Influencers, the British Hospitality Association, how we work with these guys. This is about the tourism strategy refresh for Scotland, the Scottish government-led, but industry-driven, industry-led and driven tourism strategy. How we get together, 2,000 voices together to pull together an industry-led, private sector-led strategy for tourism. And what's it all about? You see down at the bottom right-hand side, Crieff Community Council. I chair the Crieff Community Council. If you ever want to go to a more negative meeting in your life, go to a community council. We talk about dogfiling and the colour of lampposts all night. But it's about the local area that we live in. That's what our customers are interested in. When they come and visit Crieff, they want to find out about Crieff and Scotland. But when they stay in Crieff, they want to find out about Crieff, which is why I get involved with places like Crieff. And there's Crieff right in the middle. If you balance Scotland in a pin, there's Crieff. And there's where I live. That's my home. Lucky me. The green part, mustn't lose sight of that. The green part. People like to come to places like Scotland for the rural aspect of life, our natural heritage. I live there. Well, I live in a bungalow in the estate. I like living in bungalows. It suits me. There's not much upstairs. And Crieff Hydro, my friends say when I leave Crieff, I get a nosebleed. But why leave Crieff? It's such a lovely place to live. And then how do we link, and this is the point about the Scottish Tourism Alliance, how do we link this? Merida, that's our version of Merida in the middle there. How do we link this? Crieff Hydro has 72 activities in the estate, horse riding being one of them. So we link Merida horses, and we'll do some sort of horsey, clever thing with Merida. And we'll share this with our colleagues in the industry, and we do archery and these sort of things, and we'll link this somehow with Brave, and we'll do Brave walks and Brave hacks and Brave trails, and we'll share this with our industry. And that's what it's about. This is about the share of the market, about being smart and new, clever, intelligent ways to market our business and market our trade, ways to market. We did some research, the Scottish Tourism Alliance did some research last week, asking our few thousand members, what do you think about Brave, and where do you think you fit with Brave, and have you heard about it, are you interested in it? And within 8 hours, overnight, 500 had come back saying, yes, this is good for Scotland. How good is that? We asked them the same thing about the strategy for Scotland, and about 100 took a week to come back to us. Brave is good for us. Charlie, thank you for that.
You're welcome. Malcolm,
the child helpline, by the way, will appear later because the parents are looking for that poor wee lassie with the red hair.
And so what's this? This is about links to success, links to global brands. If, like Crieff, we represent this small guy in Crieff and the Scottish Tourism Alliance, 20,000 businesses linked to tourism in Scotland. This is about links to the global success. We don't have a global market in Crieff, for example. Many of our members, 70% of us in Scotland, have less than 9 employees. 90% have less than 49 employees. We don't have a global brand in our own right. This gives us a chance to link to that, and that's exciting us. This is about promoting us and being proud of where we come from. So then, finally, we also have Miss World and going on in Scotland. There's Miss Scotland playing the bagpipes badly in the middle, and we try and link to these sort of things going on around Scotland and work in collaboration with Visit Scotland and others around the country to get ourselves together to be singing from the same song sheet. And of course, finally, with the famous grouse being Crieff, the home of the grouse, as they say. And how else do we link in with it? Well, there's Brian Suter down there, stagecoach, transport. It's about linking all these things around Scotland to get ourselves going together. Right, that's me.
Wow.
Fantastic.
I'll say what, can I just say one more thing? From a very practical perspective, we thank God for Visit Scotland, to be honest, because we love what Steve is doing. We love what all the individual destinations and attractions are doing with this film and bringing it to life, I suppose. But we could, from a very practical perspective, we couldn't do it if we didn't have, one point of entry, one single contact that we could deal with, partner with, and then you, Malcolm, and your team go and take it off and help Stephen with exactly what he wants to do in Crieff, but we couldn't do it directly. So
well, we're like that pack mule that was in the movie. But I think, before we go on, and we'll leave you with the trailer, which is very short, and it's just to inspire you for your dinner tonight. But the one thing that struck me today, and everybody's talked about lots of positive stuff, and why, the industry is so important. But the one thing that I haven't heard, and for me personifies that, it's fun. If you can't go out there in this industry and enjoy it, and actually have a great time, then, we need to look at ourselves. Because it's serious, it's about business, it's about margins, but let's have some fun while we do it. And this has been the most wonderful experience, certainly, for the last 24 hours that I've had. So we'll leave you on the trailer. Thanks very much indeed.